Have you ever considered what it's like to immerse yourself in a sound bath? Well, today I have you covered. Join me as I invite a special guest to dive into the unique experience of a sound bath and spill all the details on the afterbath. Welcome to the Afterbath, where we explore unique experiences and wellness practices. I'm your host, Matt. Today we have a special episode where we'll be diving into the world of sound baths. If you've ever wondered what it's like to be immersed in soothing sound waves, you're in for a treat. Today we're joining Loretta on her transformative journey as she immerses herself in the fourth of 6 consecutive sound baths, each bringing her close to inner peace and self-discovery. Through these sessions, Loretta has had a powerful realization while diet and exercise are essential, true well-being also requires nurturing her mental health. Each sound bath has revealed new insights, and now she is at a turning point. When drama arises in her life, Loretta now understands that she has a choice to either engage or let go. Empowered by this awareness, she no longer feels trapped by life's ups and downs. Loretta recognizes her old ways of thinking as an outdated operating system and is stepping into a more grounded, less reactive way of being. But will this latest sound bath help her sustain her newfound calm, or will the pull of old habits resurface when life tests her again? Join us to explore her journey of growth and resilience.
Wow.
Yeah, Loretta, welcome back.
Thank you.
This is your 4th sound bath.
It is.
Wow, it's a bit of a turning point.
I feel, yes.
Yeah.
A switch has been flicked.
Yeah, amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
I suppose, a realisation that there is a clear choice, that what I was trying to reconcile with, I suppose when I walk out of an experience like the sound bath, and when I try to bring it back into my normal day-to-days, and have the two magically just meld together and work as one, I was finding that really challenging.
Yep.
And I had a realisation, it's only a day or two ago, that this one, the one that I've been living for decades, doesn't gel well with being told to sort of change its way. The pattern is strong.
Yes.
It's quite solid. It's a well-worn track.
Yes.
And I'm telling it to, sort of, come on, change your ways. You got to soften up those edges and do this and do that. But I feel like I have to accept. I've got to let that go.
Yeah. I
have to actually change that whole format.
Yes.
I was trying to adapt and do a little bit of a half-half, one foot in one camp, one foot in the other, and say, I'm sure this is going to work.
Yeah.
I'm sure. But no, I actually now think all the beautiful patterns that are now part of my life, that I do crave, the healthy eating, the good sleeping routines, better ways of communicating, a whole range of healthier ways are a great framework, which I will stay with.
Yep.
But they were maintenance for a very stressful life.
Yeah.
They were just keeping everything just okay. And they did get me through. Yeah. But I've realised a lot more of that framework has to crumble away.
Yeah.
So that includes certain reactions to stresses in life.
Yeah.
Certain patterns of that racing energy.
Yeah.
It's not doing me any favours.
Yeah.
And that's hard. That's a really hard one in living in Melbourne, and you have to navigate through always congested traffic at this point because we're going through a big change. High demands on time, of expectations of quick, we need this, and you got to get So just the physical demands, but also, I suppose, even on on communication levels of, quick response to, I sent you that yesterday.
Yeah.
Or I texted you and I haven't heard back, or all of those next level expectations that we've all got layered up on what we're already doing. So it's made for a very stressy, tense way of living. And I've just realised I have to change it all up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the sound bath approach, it's interesting how the week 1, week 2, week 3 taught me some things. And week 1 was the biggest realisation that I can come back to a state that is quite, it's more going back to who I am, the core of who I am.
Yeah.
And it had a lot of that childlike me held in that lovely golden way that I went through the afternoon.
Yep.
And I was navigating through the hospital, and every interaction was just sweet.
Yeah.
It lost the coarseness and the harshness that I've experienced days and days before.
Yeah.
And it felt so golden, like in such a stressful time. My husband's there in a hospital bed, and we're not knowing what's happening with his heart, and having to wait for surgeons to inform us, and nurses to take care of the day-to-day. So it was, on that level, it should have been very stressful that afternoon.
Like you'd be having a meltdown, right?
Absolutely.
I would have been having a meltdown.
Yes. All the you're flooded with all the what if this, what if that's going on. But it was anything but. And it was a level of golden sweetness. Yeah. And I thought, geez, if you live like this all the time, how could that be possible? So it was a reminder of a way of being.
Yes.
And not necessarily being, forever a child in the world, and because we've got responsibilities, we've got things that you still have to do. You just have to.
Still need to eat, right?
Yeah, exactly, and everything that's involved with getting that meal onto the table. So it's like, I thought, is there a way? And it stayed with me all afternoon into that night, for the next day, or the next couple of days. The second sound bath, opposite.
Right.
When I came home, and there was a situation where it was such a tense issue with my husband, and it was a flare up and a whole range, and it just shook me out of that golden state straight away.
Yeah.
Within that was a lesson that, in reflection, I didn't have to let go of that state.
Yeah.
I actually gave in to the opposite.
Yeah.
And, the natural way of interacting in that scenario, I fell for that. I just went into the old style of, I suppose, that combative, 1 versus 1.
Yeah.
That kind of thing going on. And then, so that state didn't last long enough, but I still was able to, sort of get back to, okay, all right, got through that. Now get into my creative practice. Now do this. I have to, and I was able to sort of tap back into it here and there through the week. The third one, a similar situation happened.
Yep.
When I came home.
Yep.
But this time, rather than allowing myself to hook into an argument, I chose to stand still and see it as, this is not about me.
Yep.
I can see this clearly this time.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm in a different framework. It's almost like 2 different operating systems that aren't working together anymore.
Yes.
And I totally understood both of our perspectives, but I just said, once the dust settles, I really want to talk this through.
Yeah.
But right now it's not going to do either of us any favours if we
Yep.
go...
toe to toe on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how the 3 weeks, that's taught me that level of choice to stay within something that you know is nourishing to your system. You know and understand it deeply, how it's something to cultivate.
Yep.
And that's the clarity I'm now getting, that I was clinging on to an operating system that for me now it's outdated.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to do well for me. If I keep going like that over the next 5 years,
Yeah.
it will set me up so poorly for old age.
Yeah.
I will be so tight and sore and just in a very uncomfortable way of navigating through the world.
Yes.
To make the decision now to not want that, I can see how I can choose the other path.
Yeah.
And it does include the way that I'm eating. It does include the different sleeping habits and other healthier habits.
Yeah.
But it also needs to have brought within a proper embrace of that vibrational understanding of when it's getting thrown off kilter, that I'm very conscious of it and I'm confident enough that I can pull back into protecting that.
Yep.
With that, and that's not saying, oh, you're just going to detach to fairyland. It's not that at all. It's just saying...
No, you'll actually be more grounded.
More grounded.
Yeah, yeah.
More there.
Yeah.
More present.
More present, yeah.
Rather
more
than...
present, more aware.
Yes.
Yeah, less in your head, less stuck in fear.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And therefore leading to less aggro, because the previous one hooks me into such a state of aggravation, like anger, seething, because I'm not understood.
Yeah.
Or I'm misunderstood, or I'm trying to prove myself, or any of that kind of energy. It's just not me anymore. I don't want that anymore.
Yeah.
I'm now accepting who I am, what I'm about.
Yeah.
And when I had that sort of golden state, when after the first sound bath, walking through that hospital, it was the core of me walking through there. It was a lovely gold, like the charm, the kinder version of me.
Yes.
And I need to cultivate and remind myself that she's so there.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I guess maybe the way I see it is that say pre-sound bath, there's a real need to feel close to other people. And there's tissues behind you if you wish. And that closeness is, like you might say, I need to feel love. But you forget that, well, you are love. Your whole being is made of love. You can't fit in any more love, even if you tried, even if, someone gave you a.
Yeah, I haven't thought of that. Of course,
yeah. A truckload of love. Where would you put it?
Yeah. Yes.
So you're as big as you're going to get. And when you feel that amount of love, then what comes from that is you don't need to play someone else's puppet. You don't need to be... Because what happens, as we all do, is that we put each other in boxes. We look at each other and we say, oh, yeah, you're a female of this age, of this class, of this, culture, whatever. And then you start making guesses. Oh, yeah, this is what I'm going to get out of you. And if I don't, I'm going to be a little bit maybe afraid, because it will be going beyond the box that I've put you in.
Yes.
So
exactly.
And we do that to everyone that we're around. Like I'll do it to my wife will do it to me. And I'll expect my wife to behave a particular way because she's my wife.
Yeah.
And if she doesn't behave like my wife, I'll get disappointed because they'll say, this is not the wife that I want,
Yeah.
which is totally ridiculous.
Yes.
And the whole thing is just putting each other in boxes.
Yes.
And when you step away from that and you go, you know what, I don't need to put anyone in a box.
Exactly.
And then I also don't need to behave in someone else's box the way they want me to behave.
I like that you mentioned that. Yeah. Exactly.
And it's not that you then become distant, it's just that you can be more at peace with the way people are because you go, oh, I see. You're just confused as the way you think I am.
Yes.
And that's okay. I'm just not playing that role.
Yeah.
And if you're getting upset about that, that's okay. That's not me. That's just something for you to learn. Yeah.
It's a projection.
It's a projection. Yeah. So, but I think probably what I used to do was that I would want people to be maintained within the boxes that I created for them, and I would want to be liked. So I'd be happily playing someone's version of me.
Yeah. Yes.
But it just doesn't. It's not possible because
it's so restrictive.
People's boxes change all the time, and you don't always know. Like, how do you want me to behave? I thought I was doing all the right things, but now you've changed, and I don't know how to behave.
Yes, and that's right up in your face when you the family dynamics with the brothers and sisters you've grown up with.
Yeah,
and you all go on your own different paths, and whenever you come back together, a lot of them are like, "What?
Yeah.
You're this," and I'm like, "No, I'm not."
Yeah,
I never was.
Yeah. In your mind, maybe many years ago, but not anymore.
Yeah.
Or maybe not even then. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just this little box, this set of expectations because of the gender role or because of the age, because I'm the older one and
that's right.
You're my little sister and all that sort of stuff
you
going on.
Like a little sister.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But it is that funny thing. There are, like certain points that are, like I know when I get together with my brothers that, there still is some of this role playing.
Yeah.
And you're not aware of it until it comes right up in your face.
Like around Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas.
Yeah.
I think a hospital emergency is the overrun with broken noses. Apparently that's the stat. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and you wouldn't be expecting adults to be breaking noses. You'd probably think, that would probably come from, like teenagers. But no, it's adults behaving like teenagers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still stuck in their teenage box.
Yeah. So, it's an interesting thing to feel very loved by yourself and to feel that love and feel very settled and very calm and go, oh, you know what? I don't need anyone to give me this. I've already got it. Yeah, I've already got it.
I'm not fully there, but I'm just. Yeah,
you just need to keep returning to it, yeah?
Yes.
I mean, that's the thing that we all need to do every day, keep returning to it and go, oh, yeah, that's right. I'm totally whole. I'm not missing anything.
Yeah.
That new watch is not going to make me feel more complete.
Yeah.
This car is not going to make me feel more than not having the car. Yeah, all of these things that we project onto people, even, you might think, I'd really like to ask this person out on a date, and if they don't agree, then I'll feel like my confidence has been shattered. That's just a projection.
Yeah.
So, when you feel totally loved by yourself, it's very freeing. Very freeing. Yeah, it's very good. Well, we should go experience some of that now, right?
We should.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, let's go for it.
Okay.
Imagine a moment carved out just for you. Reclined in gentle stillness, you are cradled by waves of pure resonant tones, Tibetan singing bowls, gongs and chimes, weaving their magic. Each sound becomes a loving embrace, reaching into the deepest corners of your being, dissolving tension and inviting serenity. In this sacred space, the outside world melts away. The chatter of the mind quiets, replaced by the soft hum of harmony flowing through you. It's not just an escape, it's a homecoming, a reminder of your innate balance, strength and connection to the infinite. Here, relaxation is just the beginning. A sound bath is a radiant pause in life's rhythm, offering renewal, clarity and peace. Whether you're seeking a moment of stillness or a deeper connection to yourself, this is your time. Step through the doorway and let the whispers of the universe guide you back to your center. This is your invitation to realign, recharge, and remember the essence of who you are.
Wow.
Yeah, welcome back, Loretta. This is post sound bath.
That is. That is.
Yeah. So that was a bit of a different one today because we had a guest with us.
We did.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you had a tandem sound bath.
Yeah, a unique experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually I do a lot of group sound baths. So, up to 35 people or whatnot. And but I always think that the individual sound baths should probably go a little bit deeper.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm wondering what it was like, just the two of you.
I'm starting to think of how that felt different, and definitely the presence of someone else next to you in the early stages.
Yeah.
And even at the beginning when Shell was giggling, she said, it's like having a sleepover when I was 9. And it was kind of, that set me in a good state in terms of framing it, of getting back to an essence that I'm really happy to touch base again with.
Yeah.
So it set the tone for me. I don't know how that worked for Shell.
Yeah.
But and then as your sequence progressed, it was just like a normal sound bath.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Of previous ones.
Yeah.
There was no self-consciousness or interference in any way. It was just lovely, just bathing in the resonance that was waving through.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a funny thing when you're around you. There's a certain amount of that animal instinct to be protective. Like, I don't want to offend someone, or I don't want to have them interfere with me in any way. And there's just that awareness of maybe
protecting your own experience.
Yes. Yeah, that's it.
But no, it just melted away. So I think your tuning forks at the beginning there, the lovely tuning forks, that started to remind me just to sort of catch those waves rolling through. And that stopped any other conversations that were going on in my head or any other concerns.
Yeah. What I find for myself is that, the chatter is always there, but it's how much you engage with it, that mental chatter.
Yes.
And the mental chatter is very good at knowing your weak spots.
Yeah.
And so it will dredge up something that will be like, have you not thought about this?
Well, I had less chatter than any of the sessions.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. I was very happy to relax. And I even thought in that early stage, because this is a morning session, normally I do an afternoon session with you.
Yes.
I was in a different state of awareness.
Yes.
So the previous ones I do drop off to sleep, and I have ended up in that embarrassing snoring state. Yeah. But this time I stayed with it for a long time.
Yeah.
And I only just for a fraction of a moment dropped off.
Yeah.
At the tail end of one of the gong sequences.
Yes.
But I pretty much was there enjoying that whole range
Yeah, yeah. I had noticed that because I'd been looking up from time to time trying to figure out, right, one of yous has dropped off. Who is it? Yeah. And it's interesting. You know, I guess what I'm looking for as a sound bath practitioner is how's your breathing?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at, you know, the rise and fall of tummies, diaphragms, just to go, right, so is it getting longer? Is it getting deeper? Or is it quickening? That's an indication if there's, you know, sometimes people find that when there's a particular bowl played, it can spark something, just like a small amount of irritation or whatnot, or I might be hitting some aspect that's reminding you of something.
I did notice that.
Yeah.
So those gongs went into a really big, deep sequence, and I loved it. It's very cinematic for me. It's like almost, not Star Wars, but what's the other big one? That's like Star Wars.
Oh,
where it's
is it
Luke Skywalker and
yeah.
So that very out in far into space.
Yes.
Very big, deep energy. And then there was one particular bowl that I thought, now that actually resonates really differently in my head to something more British and royal family.
Yep.
They're set at a different sort of vibration. Yeah. And every time that was struck, I kept thinking, that's regal, but it's not Tibetan depth regal. It's monarchy. It's sort of a different. Yeah.
It's a bit like, I guess for me, it's like trying to get to some purity that you connect with, that you can understand on a maybe not so much a hierarchy, but at least something to aspire to. So, you know, like on a God consciousness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
or a higher consciousness.
Definitely feel it with the gongs.
Yeah. Yeah. It cuts through your ego. Yeah.
Yes.
All the nonsense.
It does. And it brings a strength with it.
Yeah.
I always feel after the end of that sequence, always feel quite, okay, I'm ready. Yeah. I'm feeling really good and strong. And
I can take whatever you throw at me.
Bring it on.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yes. Yeah, it is very interesting that it's not threatening, not in something where you feel, oh, my life is threatened.
No.
Like if you were standing in the presence of a big cat or an elephant, where you'd feel, oh dear, I'm in strife.
Yes. No, it's the opposite.
Yeah. It's like it gives you strength.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a very interesting thing. It's probably like standing in front of a massive mountain and looking at it with awe.
Yes.
And thinking, wow, look how small I am. But then it supports you, where you go, wow, this is great.
Yes.
I don't feel threatened, I feel inspired.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Emboldened and brings you with it.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, it's very good.
Big fan of the gongs.
Yeah.
But you also came around closer to our heads with the tuning forks.
Yes. Yeah.
And I could feel that because I'm ready to get some dental work done.
Oh.
And in a good way. It actually, I could feel exactly where work needs doing.
Yeah.
And I could feel it relaxing the jaw around it.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had tuning fork work done before you had the dental work done.
Oh yeah, you could definitely do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just as a, you can get into a very, very deep state where you probably wouldn't even need any type of painkiller.
Yeah.
You'd need to do it for a while, and you'd need to be able to go very deep with it.
And I also had a bit of a headache that I've had for a while.
Right.
And I've, you know what part of the brain it is.
Yeah.
So when you were doing the tuning fork,
it
was highlighting the part of the brain, but there was no pain.
Right.
So I was very curious about that.
Yeah.
So the sound waves that you were chiming with were just kind of rippling through it.
Yep.
In a soothing way.
Soothing way. Yeah. Yeah. I guess what I've noticed for myself is that pain is an indication that, of course, that there's an issue there that you've got to take notice of. And if you go into the pain, it can aid in relieving it. Yeah. And so you don't suffer as much or you don't suffer at all.
Yeah.
And it just merely becomes, a sensation.
Yeah.
And it's not even, you wouldn't even maybe label it pain then.
No.
But I feel a sensation. And it's and you become very aware of it. Relieving the suffering of pain is very, very useful.
Yeah.
Very useful. And so instead of, going, I have pain and wanting to run away, you can go, oh, wow, yeah, pain.
Yeah.
Oh, this is excruciating.
Yeah.
But I don't need to run away from it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes it very manageable.
Totally manageable. It's like, I'm not saying that I walked in with a excruciating headache.
No.
But I don't feel anything there now.
Yeah.
The neck.
Yeah.
It soothed the neck issue out once again, which keeps coming back. So, I'm loving it from that perspective.
Fantastic.
So,
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Maybe it could be that, as you go about your week, the old habits of stress creep back in, and then you might find yourself holding yourself in a way that increases the muscle tension.
Definitely.
And then once that irritation occurs, you might start to mentally fixate on it, which might exacerbate it. And you find the whole experience getting overwhelming. Yeah. You can use that as well. If you allow it to, if you can allow yourself to surrender to the pain, it will back off. People generally do that when pain gets so excruciating that they can't handle it anymore, and they have a little, like a little moment. And then they go, oh, well, it can't get any worse than this. And then they start to relax. But I think before that moment, there's this fear of how bad is it going to get?
Yes.
And that anticipation makes it worse.
Yes.
Yeah. And once you've hit that threshold, it's as bad as it can get. And you go, oh, this is actually okay. And then you relax. So, it's a funny thing.
Yeah.
So, running towards pain rather than running away from it. Surrendering to it. Yeah. Not that you want to look for it, but don't run from it.
Yeah. I'll try to keep it in mind.
Yeah. Sitting down, and there is a headache trick that you can use, and that is by relabeling the pain in different ways. And then as you become more accustomed to describing the pain in lots of different ways, you'll find it begins to lessen, because you're not so much trying to run away from it. You're more like, this is interesting. Yeah. So if you describe it as a colour or a shape, or, does it feel warm or cool or rough or smooth? Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it can start to diminish.
Yeah, I'll try that.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else coming up for you?
Just feeling very relaxed.
Yeah.
It did, and it just felt lovely to be supportive.
Yeah.
It felt lovely. Yeah.
Yeah. Of Shell. Yeah. She was the guest.
Yes.
If anybody's wondering, who's this Shell? Yeah.
Yes, and she went through this whole experimental phase. She went through the 6 weeks
Yes.
at the very beginning.
Yes.
And it's just gone through a rough week. So
get a little test. Yeah.
So we thought we'd try a dual sound bath session
and see what that was like.
Yes.
Yeah. Seems very successful for you. I think it was pretty successful for Shell as well. She looked pretty blissed out.
She did. She did.
Yeah, which was good.
Yeah.
And anything that you're looking forward to for the rest of the week now that you want to carry the sound bath into?
Very definitely into my creative work.
Yeah.
Very clear on my my pattern of work.
Yeah.
So it has been forming over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And it's very doable now, and it's very... I've been... there's been a lot of stuff that I've had to do with the flood and with hospital stuff and different health needs, but I can carve out a good space, and that's where I'm carrying this.
Yeah, great.
And the creative work does involve nature, so this whole process has been enriching all that I experience in nature. So it's come at a beautiful time for my creative work.
Yeah, and I remember you saying pre-sound bath, we had a little chat before our first interview, you were saying that after the sound bath, colours and detail seems more vibrant.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Even the contrast from walking into the sound bath last week and then emerging out of the experience, the colours in your garden, there's a whole range of flowers. There's oranges and pastel pinks and reds, reds and pinks and the fuchsia, and they were all just so rich and vibrant. Yes. The greens are iridescent greeny, you know. Yeah. And on the way in, it was just a lovely green garden, and I was still admiring, but everything was richer. Yeah. Even the vibration in the air. Yeah. So it was impacting my senses in a way that it kind of, on reflection, I had closed off some senses. Yes. Or that level of depth. Yeah. And that sound bath, it's almost, breathed space back into it. Yeah. Or relaxed me enough to be back into the depth of it. Yes. Yeah, opening up to the experience again. It is a very interesting thing. I've found that, you know, when I've become stressed, there's like a shutting down of the system, and you become very tunnel vision on solving the issue at hand. And then the world starts to become darkened around you because you don't really see, you're not concentrating on it, you're just focused on the mental activity of this issue. And then once that's gone, the world seems bigger and brighter. And it was a little bit shimmery as well. Yeah. Even a dragonfly buzzing through the air had a different that you pick up on. Yes. So I would probably say it's similar to what someone would experience if they were on like a psychedelic, like mushrooms, and they would probably say, "Oh, I am hallucinating," or "I'm getting visuals," and I don't think that's the correct thing. I think what it is that what probably most people think is normal is actually dull senses. Yes. And once you relax, your senses, become more, you lighten up and you can sense more. So, I think normality for a lot of people is actually stress. But because they're probably living with it on a daily basis, they kind of think, that this is the world. Yes. they're swimming in it.
Yeah, but it's
that classic joke, you know, the two young fish that are swimming along, chatting to each other, and the older one swims by and says, "Isn't the water feeling great today?"
Yeah.
And as he swims by, the other two look at each other and go, "What's water?"
Yeah.
You know, we're oblivious to what we're swimming in.
Yeah.
Until it's pointed out, and it's like,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we're all stressed. We're all wound up. We're all living like this is our normal.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, when you I remember listening to a podcast about cancer patients, and a lot of cancer patients say, when you know your time is up, everything starts to become, you appreciate everything. And there's a calmness that comes over you, and you start to experience more of what's really going on. And so they'll say it in a way that most people have no idea what's going on. You're totally asleep to the real world.
Yes.
And it's a bit sad that you have to get that sick, that you need to get to the point of where you're like, life is going to end, that you're actually going to start living.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Can you get a shake up another way? Or
Yeah.
Without it being
dire. Yeah. Anything else coming up for you?
Resolve, strength.
Yeah.
Clarity.
Yeah.
Deeper understanding. And that I can see it clearly now, looking back, that I've spent decades in, and I keep calling it an operating system.
Yeah. Well, it is. It is. It's like a
Loretta 1.0.
Yeah.
And I kept, pushing back the updates. It was like, I've got enough on my plate. I don't
want an update.
I don't need an update right now.
Yeah. I don't want my system to crash.
Yeah. But when you put it off, and then you finally do have to update.
Yeah.
And the computer says no big time. It's just like, this is
this is too much. You got to get all the other updates before you can do this big leap.
Yeah. So I'm at that point saying, I probably should have done a whole heap of things.
Yeah.
I would have done well to do a meditation practice back in my 20s.
Sure.
I would have done well to have got rid of all the junk food in my 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
While doing jobs that were so stressful and always running to deadlines.
Yeah.
I was really jacking up my adrenals to a point that on one level I was loving that drive and that race.
Absolutely. That rush.
Yes, and in your 20s you can deal with that on a daily basis and still get through, and wake up the next day, let's do it again and thrive on it. Yeah. But your system doesn't enjoy that for a prolonged period. Yeah. So, yes, I should have updated the system back then for all that harsh, high, just quick-paced living. Yeah. So now that clarity, it is reminding me, and it's actually just getting clear now. This is a big change. Yeah. Yeah. And very conscious, very aware of before and after. Yeah. And that creative work that I'm working on and building on, I can see how it will virtually become a meditation practice within itself.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what I was wanting to do, how do I hold on to this and how do I merge the two? It just becomes...
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just practice. Yeah, yeah. And, from time to time you got a little test and you'll struggle for a little bit and then you'll remember and then you'll come back and you'll be, oh, yeah, okay, that's good.
I still have to get the tuning forks. So that I feel like those will be the little... For me personally, I know that I need something physical.
Yes.
And then the vibration of it will bring me back to that headspace.
Absolutely. Yeah,
so my next investment will be 3 little tuning forks. Into the pocket.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It's just practice. It's just practice. If anybody out there is wanting a practice, the simplest practice you can do is just do conscious breathing. Just remember that the only thing you need to do to keep yourself on the planet is breathe. And so nice, deep inhalation and exhalation through your nose. And if you keep that in check, everything else is manageable. But if you start overthinking and your breathing becomes shallow, you'll feel it. Yeah. So simplest thing. And if you want to do a little upgrade on that, just make sure on the exhale you do a little hum.
I love the hum.
Yeah.
I was doing that on the drive in.
Yeah.
So that 21-minute hum meditation, I still struggled with fitting that in into the week. And I think there were 2 days there that I was able to do it.
Yeah.
But when I'm driving, I'm doing the hum now.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. You can do the hum anytime. Anytime, all day long if you wish. Yeah, the hum is very useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually find that that sometimes when I'm getting late into the afternoon and I'm getting tired, I'll actually notice it in my breathing. And it won't always come on like, oh, I'm getting tired. It might be more like, oh, I can feel like a constriction around my chest. It's only very slight. It's only very minor. It's a slight irritation, but it's just enough to make me go, oh, I'm becoming aware I'm not breathing properly.
Yes.
And so once I start doing the humming, then it's like, oh, yeah, okay, I can keep pace and I'll get my energy levels better. Yeah. And if it gets too much, I just lie down and have a little sleep. Yeah.
Well, it does put me off to sleep quickly.
Yes.
I have noticed.
Yeah.
With the in-breath, longer out-breath with a hum.
Yeah.
I'm just dropping off to sleep really easily. And it was a struggle in the past, so...
isn't that amazing?
Yeah. I'll keep going with those ones.
Yes. So a little demonstration of that if anyone's curious. We're just going to do 3 breaths now with a little hum at the end. So just inhaling through your nose. Just as big a breath as you can manage. And then when it's ready to exhale, you just hum. You don't have to be in pitch with me. You can any note will do. We do another inhale. Then when you're ready to exhale, then one final inhalation. Just as big as deep as you can manage. And then when you're ready, exhale with a hum. And then you just notice how your body is feeling. You might find that now your breathing is maybe a little deeper, A little slower, a little longer. So if you were to do 36 breaths of that, that won't take very long, about 5 minutes. You'll definitely feel a state change. So, yeah, good to do that whenever you're feeling you got your feathers ruffled, little stressed.
Yeah.
Good to do that. Yeah. And there's no issue. There's like you can just keep doing it and doing it and doing it for as long as you like. Yeah, it's good practice.
Thanks, Matt.
No worries. Thanks, Loretta.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
So we'll look forward to seeing you again for your 5th.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. Next week.
Fantastic.
Great.
What
Thanks,
a gift.
Loretta.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you for joining us today. This has been a fascinating exploration of sound baths. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and leave a comment. Join us again next week as Loretta continues her journey with her 5th of 6 back-to-back sound baths. Until next time, stay well and keep exploring new experiences.